Now, here's the thing. Is there a way a man at a wedding, if he just served water, would know the difference if he's drinking water and wine? Yes, there are several. In fact, right. One of them is first the smell. You ever seen a taste testing contest, fool? What is one of the ways they're determining they're drinking wine? Color, smell, and then finally, what? Taste. Taste! Now, the only ones who need it to be a miracle are us, the disciples. The only one who said it was wine is the governor of the feast, or wherever he is. And the only thing he seems to be pointing out is that when other people do this, same thing, whatever they're serving him, it does not taste good. In my opinion. So much so that even if he drank water, he still called it wine. Cause why? Whatever other shit they served him, they call wine too. Think about it. It's sarcasm. It's sarcasm. Okay? Now, believe what you want about Jesus. That's not my problem. Oh, no. My problem is when you believe the wrong thing, and it's not about Jesus, it's about you. And you want to make it more about you than Jesus. Oh, no. It's something you want to do that Jesus knows you can do, but still would have to tell you, no, you're not supposed to do that. Right? And that's what you have a problem with. Yourselves. Knowing when to stop. Knowing when no means no. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You can no longer discern good things truly from evil things truly. You don't even know why you have to wait till the girl is 16 to even have sex with her if she consents to it. That's how messed up you are about it. Though I know the age of 16, I don't go sniffing around 16-year-olds to be with them. Right? I keep telling you that. Though the only way one can get to me is if she has the balls to drive a car to me and be with me. Right? For one night, maybe even. Right? And that's all. That's the only way it can happen. But it's still legal if it does. It's still legal if it does. That's the irony too. That's the irony too. Now another thing is you can't lie to me about your age, right? Whether it's a fake ID or something like that. Because some women are what's called little women. They have a problem in their body. They can't grow but so big, right? But they're still women by their age. No. Right. Another example is some girls, are smaller or shorter than other girls. They grow to a point, they're maybe 4 feet and under, and some are over that, right? But they're still women, right? And not little girls, right? This is what the movie Orphan was based on. A woman who looked like a child but was really a grown-ass woman. That's your problem too. Now, my problem is simply this. I went into an Asian nail salon. When I left, it was an hour after it was supposed to be. Oh, no. And I'm trying to figure out what they did to me in the store during the hour, and they won't tell me. I know. What happened in there? And that's all I'm asking them. Well, what happened? What happened? Well, obviously you wouldn't have any kind of doing with me in that department. But it don't mean if she was hiding something, she wouldn't. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's called entrapment. Look up the word. It means something. Right? The difference between entrapment is you're sneaking your way through it. You're lying to my face while it's happening. Right? Now, the same would be true, right, if Michelle Kwan herself, right, being that I found out about her when growing up myself, when I was around 24 and met Mary Bell, right? And during all that time, I'm hearing about Michelle Kwan. Even when she turns 18, though I don't engage her. In fact, I didn't even say nothing about her till right before I got on YouTube anyway, right? But one of the songs I did was Paul McCartney's "We Shall My Bells," whatever you want to say, go to hell, right? But again, if you present a girl and she calls herself Michelle, then she could pass for Michelle Kwan herself. And she says she's 37, well, Michelle Kwan would be about that age now anyway herself, right? And she wouldn't look no different to me than that girl herself, right? Cause why? I don't stalk either her or the girl I met at the salon, right? Though I'm looking for a girlfriend, right? As any man my age would and can. Whatever bullshit you're sprouting is full of shit. If it's my age, if it's my looks, if it's my hairline, you're lying about it because you don't like that it's still looking normal. Mm-hmm. And it also looks to you like it's receding. But that means your view is askew, not mine. It's my hair. And you're trying to tell me what is going to happen with it. Which I, knowing my hair for 20 damn years, I know. And what I mean by that is that usually when you go bald, is between 30 to 50, right? But if your hair is staying the same, obviously, right, it's just that one side's a little lower than the other at a certain point in your hairline, right? And other people who don't know you are making you paranoid about it, right, by acting like it's receding when it's not. Which you can refute them because you know it's not. And then they want to pretend you're getting angry about it when they're the ones being a nuisance about it. They're the ones attacking you about it. And pretend you can't defend yourself like my third grade bully did until I had to knock him upside the head because he wouldn't stop. Or yell at him because he wouldn't stop to get attention away and over to what he was doing to me. You're the ones acting like kid bullies who won't grow up. Who are obsessed with certain things all males might deal with one day. Including male pattern baldness, which obviously I don't have. Right? Including whether a hairline is receding or not. Right? And including, right, how harassing you are when it's another male who simply knows it's not receding yet. Then you're just trying to be right even if you're wrong, right? Which I have a right to say you're wrong. If I know you're wrong, right? And you keep pretending I don't have a right to do that, child of the devil. But that's exactly who you're acting like. And I'm just doing it to point it out to other people. Don't let people like this make you their bitch, because that's what they're trying to do. tell them the truth you know for 20 damn years after you turn 30. It's a little bit higher on one side and a little bit lower on the other, and I know it looks odd to you, but it's not receding. Never has, never will. In fact, even though I'm sweating now, it kind of complements how it does my whole hair as a whole. Another thing is about male pattern baldness is, alright, say you take this Japanese dude, right? I don't know him, but if you look at the top of his head, right, he does have a balding spot, right? I don't even know his age, right? In the back of his head. Now I gotta mute it because I can't but show you certain things. Now, this dude, like most dudes in their 20s, does not, right? Have even a slight idea of that. But I'm in my 50s, right? See, that's another thing about male pattern baldness. You don't just recede it here. It recedes everywhere. If you have it. If you don't have it, it does not recede. It just looks like it is to other people who don't know you are different than each other, but similar. Now, some people really have the problem with this type of baldness, but you're not supposed to separate them from other people and put them down. Nor are you to not hear someone who tells you, look, my hair's been like this for 28 damn years, even when I could have gone bald. Which usually, if you have this kind of pattern baldness, right, he's been going bald for a while. Mine don't even start at the back to the front. It can't be nowhere else. Now, if you're lying on me, I have a right to tell you my truth, even if someone else lied to you about me, and you're believing them over me. Whether you like it or not. And two wrongs never make a right. And if someone's not even doing you wrong and don't know what's wrong, you're doing him wrong alone. Just because someone sent you letters from him to ship and you decided to believe it was him. When none of that matched the personality of the person you actually met. Right. Which could be the only thing he was relying on, right? While on his ship, maybe being code redded every night. Trying to tell them you wouldn't even believe that was him, even though he only knew you 3 days. But you believed it anyway. Which is nothing you can do about it. But show you by writing you handwritten letters every time he wrote you. If it was typed letters, it was never him. Which is all they could do. You done gave in to whatever psychosomatic response they wanted you to do, right? And because I'm lighter black than you are, I have 1% or more black in me, right? It's more than 1%, right? But it's enough to mean I have an ancestor from the probably colonial days, right, to the Civil War, who still shows up as at least 3% in the parent before me, right, to be 1.4, right, on and on, all the way back to 100%, right, in the one who had the pure African gene I now have, right? But it don't matter to some people if you're 1.4 versus 100%, right? I'm still not technically black to you. I have to have a percentage more than 1% to be black? No, I don't. No, I don't. It's not the percentage you're black anyway. It's how people actually treat a man that determines your character versus his, right? By the way. Mm-hmm. Now, some people treat people badly, right? And some people don't. Mm-hmm. But there are more probably who do and get away with it than don't. Mm-hmm. And who are really good people here, right? But the problem is only you can change yourself, right? To be sure of that, right? I know that. I know that too. I know that too. And again. And again. Now, if people are doing someone wrong and he's trying to get help and no one knows how to help him, well, it sure as hell didn't help that the only way you could have gotten any information from me is not from me, but my shipmates. Captain Carey, Dr. Oates, and Dr. Asner. Mm-hmm. And trust me, whatever they told you about me was based on 2.5 years of them trying to have anal sex with me when I kept telling them no, not even if you don't train me. Which they did not bother to train me while I was working under them. And I did not know enough about the electrical equipment on the ship itself to do the job by myself, right? But I could do certain jobs no matter what, like clean the head, mop the floor, help with hooking up the ship to the dock, paint the ship even, right? But I could not be an electrician because I didn't even know what half the equipment on the ship even looked like I was supposed to be working on. And they didn't bother to show me how to do the job that way without knowing what you're working on, right? Because, see, if you don't know what you're working on, how can you work on it? You just don't know what it looks like, right? You know the area, Chief, you're supposed to be working in, and you can go there safely, right? But after that, you're kind of trapped, right? So you just make sure nothing's wrong, right? Nothing's out of the ordinary, at least sight-wise, with the equipment you are trying to work on in the area. Whether it's electrical or not, right? By the way, too, right? So you stay in the area long enough, at least 30 minutes or so, and then you kind of leave the area, right? And then you might try and find something else to do to preoccupy your time, and then you go back to this place around 4, right? Because you don't know what else to do, right? You done what you thought would help in that situation, right? So there you are. That's all you can do, right? You're not even sure what you're supposed to be working on, only that there's something electrical in the area. I know. Because the work card ain't got a picture on it, just instructions on how to work on the piece of equipment, right? Meaning it's all typed up, right? But there's nothing to show you what you're supposed to be working on. So how are you supposed to know what you're supposed to be working on? They only give you the work card. No one even told you, okay? Even though there's a bunch of books on the shelves, not even in A school, that those books go with the card, right? So you didn't even know that, right? That's how naive you were about what they were not showing you, right? You didn't even know the book went with the cards or not, right? And even so, there were like more than 40 books or 50 books on the shelf, right? So still, what are you supposed to do? Read every book till you find the particular thing you're supposed to be working on, right? Now you might can look it up alphabetically, I guess, like in an encyclopedia. I don't know. Right. I guess, right. If you even see them working with the books, which you did not see that either. So you don't know what they're trying to show you or do. You're just trying to make it through your naval career and are stuck on the USS Saipan with these guys until you met Sheena Johnson and whatever hell happened there, right? And then you really started having to hear voices because they were stressing you out more. They were working you odd hours. They had you on the 12 to 4 watches, which is the death watch, right? You get very little sleep there, right? And then a month after you meet the girl, you hear voices telling you to marry her in your mind in Jerusalem, because that's what the voices said, right? You even try to ask her about it, and she blows up in your face, and you don't even know what the hell's wrong. You ain't even really heard from her in a few weeks, right? And no one will listen to you. You don't know what's wrong. You don't know what's wrong. You don't even know what they're talking about, right? Then your ship does finally go through the Mediterranean, goes to Greece after Sicily, then guess where? Israel. For 2 weeks. And you just ask the girl to marry you in Jerusalem, and then she's acting all crazy. You don't know what's going on, right? You did see there's some Bible studies handwritten, by the way, right? And stuff like that, right? Because you don't know what's going on with her, right? You wrote her a few letters, and she wrote you a few, but she quit writing you. You don't know why. I don't know. Well, it was my shipmates who gave me the letters, by the way. Right? Her name is Sheena Johnson. Now, if your shipmates are trying to say you're gay, right? One of the things they do not want you to have, if they are, is what? A girlfriend. Uh-huh. Even if you had sex with your girlfriend, right, on an island outside of Spain, they still will try to sabotage it, Sheena, and break you up with them. Because if you even have one girlfriend, right, and I've had at least 17 women friends, have to call you by a different name now because of pedophilia and all that, right? And trying to wait for the right age appropriate woman for myself, which I have no clue who that is. Do you? Just that you're supposed to be with one, right? If you're straight. Now, gay people, though, they can go crazy on you, right? Because some of them are being bullied differently than you, right? Some might even be being raped into it, right? And the rapist is convincing them it's all their fault, right? That they're gay now. Because he's the one who's raping them, right? Into being gay, right? And they can't say they're being raped. They gotta say they're gay because of their bully, right? Who raped them into being gay. They can't fight him off, right? Which what it means to say you don't have a choice if someone's raping you into it, right? I have a choice because there are men and women in the world, and I'm not taught to sleep with men naturally, but women. Right? That's right. Or vice versa. Women aren't taught to sleep with women naturally, Not even Melissa herself, oh no. Even when she's singing her song to her female lover, it ain't any different thing than a female would say to a male lover either. That's why it went under the radar that she was gay until she really came out that she was gay after Ellen came out too and all that, right? Well, congratulations, you're gay, right? Another thing love does not do is say, well, you have to be one way or the other, right? If in this world you're all living a lie, right? Well, sex is part of that lie too, right? And also how you're having babies, right? There might be even a different way to do both, or, things like that, right? But you probably don't want to deal with it the way God might prefer you to do it, right? But it works with you three ways, right? And you can do things more than one way with God, right? But with Satan, you have only one way. Usually his way or the highway, by the way. That's not Jesus, who is trying to teach us unconditional love, which means you don't judge each other alone by your mistakes. Right? You don't condemn each other for simple things you might mistake as right or wrong, right? Good or evil. Mm-hmm. And you don't get in a mob and hunt down one person for being confused about all your crazy rules to begin with when you're probably the one not following it yourselves. And you're joining the mob because you don't know what else to do about it. You're just glad you're not the one being put on public example of what they're going to do to someone who does it the next time, right? Which even that's, again, right, vigilante mob mentality, right? And you can't rule a government by just mob mentality alone, right? You have to have intellect, or you're, again, defeating the purpose of having any government in the first place, right? We must be ruled first by reason and trying to help each other out of a bad situation. Otherwise, we're all out for ourselves, and selfishness and greed can't help anyone either. Wow. Now, the thing is, though, I had a stepdaughter in 94, briefly, was only briefly around her, and someone's trying to concoct the crazy idea that the child was molested by me when she was never alone with me, right? The only way she could be alone with me would mean I would have to do something if she came in there to me, right? And deal with her being in the wrong place, right? Not me. Well, she would be in the wrong place then. Again, this is another thing the jerk won't hear. And I can't do nothing about that if she is, but bring her back to her mom as fast as possible, right? In the first confession, I did exactly that when I realized she was in there with me. In the second confession, which is based on things I've been through growing up, I've added a few details like taking a shower with her, which I remember taking a shower with my mom. Whatever that means to you, right? And again, up till I was 3 or 4. myself. And another thing is, I did have a girl the year before, when I had been with her mother the night before, the following morning, stick her crotch, that she had panties on, in my face, right? Which I used for Daphne's daughter if she were to wake me up. Kinda, you know what I mean? And I was sleeping on the couch, right? But again, I never said it happened with her. Right? And I don't know why the other girl did that, but all I know is as soon as she did, I got out of there and didn't hang around there, right? Because see, it was the mom, right, who's responsible for her daughter. If she's right there doing that to me, and I'm trying to get her mom's attention and stop her from doing that, right? Which is all you can do, right? And I know if Daphne's daughter came in there to be my only job is to get her back to her mom, period, right? And no one on God's green earth can prove if I did or didn't do that night. Unless you just want to accuse me on YouTube for 15 years after that, or 11 years after that, however long it is, right? 11 and 15 is 26, right? Yeah. Someone did, though. Ironically. And my ex-wife acted as surprised about it as I did when they started accusing me of it. Right. And she too said it never happened. And everything I told him after that was sarcasm. I told him that too, right? Shortly after I made a statement that, wow, they never got it on time, right? Sarcastically, right? And I know what I mean there, right? Which has to do with changing a child's diaper and having to smell her crotch area, whether you would stick out your tongue or not. Right? If she was in the bedroom with her mom all night and you're not sure she peed herself or something, and you're trying to make sure she didn't pee herself or something, or you're trying to take a shower with her or something, right? And you're not sure she would be comfortable with male nudity, so you undress like in Airplane to see if she could handle seeing a grown man naked or something like that, right? But again, you're not getting this through normal means, right? This is things you've seen on TV and movies and right, growing up too, right? This ain't all your idea. It's things that really are going on around you, even if it's fictional for real, right? And even if you're putting the fiction for real on the TV, right? Or the movie screen, Jimmy Dean, James Dean. You're just going along with it as a part of the entertainment crowd, right? You even heard of hermaphrodites through Star Trek The Next Generation, right? Right. When they went to a planet of hermaphrodites, as you learned that Jesus might have been one himself, right? And you're like, okay, cool. I ain't got a problem with that. Other people do in the church who don't know the real Jesus might be in drunkenness. Am I? Did he die for just the men's sin or the women's sin too? And they're in a different form, right? Right? Are women the same as men? No, they're physically different. Right? Well, if I'm dying for both sinners, male and female, and only male and female can sin or not sin, right? Don't I have to be a little of both, right? To die for the sins of both, right? And then, yes, I'm neither too, right? I'm a different creature, huh? Right? So are you when you're baptized into Christ Jesus, right? By one Spirit, we're all baptized into one body, right? And the last time I checked, all means all. All means all. The male, the female, the Jew, the Gentile, the bond, the free, we're all baptized into Christ's body because he's kind of neither but both, right? And a mediator is not a mediator one, but God and Jesus are one. And, okay, I get that now, right? Jesus is the image of the true God. But we're not to worship any image under heaven and earth, right? As since God is a spirit. And a spirit is only a light in your heart that pumps the blood and gives your brain thought to where you can take it into captivity to even the obedience of Christ, that you do not entertain the thoughts of truly wicked people. Though being that we are male and female, you're forced to marry into that kind of relationship, right? More male than male, or female than female, though you can do both. Too still, like I said, right? Who am I to judge anyone if none of us are perfect, right? As Christ pointed out too, right? Himself, right? If I judge the adulterer and I look upon a woman with lust, I've not committed adultery in my heart. But if I look a woman in the eye, I'm not trying to just check her out. Though if I'm looking at the hostess and she's the one who sent me down, and I have been looking over the menu, right? And no one has taken my order yet. I'm waiting for someone to take my order, just looking around until again my order can be taken. I know. I know. I know. Until they called someone who knows me and leave. And I don't know if she was working that day, but she showed up suddenly, right? And my sister might not have been there because who knows what she's dealing with at home in Thunderbolt or somewhere, right? Or she's, I think, has another restaurant. But again, okay, you know me by what? Reputation. An accusation someone made against me because I have an ex-wife who has a stepdaughter who I was only around for 4 days, right? That's a fact, right? But the other fact is that you don't want to hear is I was sleeping on the couch and she was in there with her mother, right? But I don't care how crazy you are, right? Even a schizophrenic knows not to mess with the mother and her child. Even if the child come in there to you, you don't know why, but you bring her back to her mother. And that's all you insist on you know to do. And confess you would do, right? And all you ever confessed you would do about it. Bring her back to her mom if she wanted in there or not. Now, of course, you might need to tend to certain needs. Like I said, that's where we go into the needs, right? The first are obviously eating or drinking, right? But if you had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or at least dinner with the child, she might need to pee later on that night, you see? And then that's the other two reasons, peeing or taking a shower, like I said, which I remember doing with my mom, that you could say, right, would go on there. But that still ain't criminal, even if I stuck my tongue out to smell like vagina to make sure she would eat herself, right? Which is still made up, right? I don't even know that happened, right? But I can make it up simply by what I went through as a child myself. I even found out about oral sex around 12 to 14, right? From a book I was looking at, right? Though it was an adult book, I somehow got a hold of that content around my friends and family, right? And was looking into it, right? The women. Not little boys, not little boys. Since I was a little boy and I had a girlfriend since the third grade off and on, right? Thing is, when I moved to the country, the girls were still being chased by the boys. And playing circle, circle, dot, dot. Now they got their kitty shot type thing. Which I had already had a girlfriend, so obviously one of us outgrew that and one of us did not. And then I'm riding the bus, I don't know, and we start hitting puberty, and they, on the bus, especially the boys, start pretending I'm gay, right? And then a cousin, when you go up to visit your aunt, you're just 12 years old or so, just hitting puberty, right? Was not even home when you got there. You went to sleep, right? He might have gotten in sometime later that night, right? You wake up with him the next morning and he's trying to accuse you of being gay, which you know the only thing that could do that is if you had a wet dream, right? And the cousin is trying to take advantage of that, right? And you just hit puberty, right? Well, like I said, right? When you first wake up and the first thing your cousin's doing is accusing you of being gay, you know you were asleep all night, right? Or not. Even when he came in, right? But you also know about wet dreams when you're 12. Usually when you start having them. That's right. Yourself. And you know the only thing the cousin could be confusing it with is if you were having a wet dream either before and after he came in, right? And because of the sound, you might have even stopped, right? When someone's coming in or not, right? He kind of woke you up enough from the wet dream to where it stopped temporarily. And you were just kind of laying there as he got into bed, right? But then, once it got quiet again, the wet dream might have started again. Since you don't remember even him coming in or in your mind asleep the whole night, right? And that's another thing you got to ask a person before you accuse them of gay. Well, do you know when you came in? No. I don't know when you came in. I was already asleep, right? Hours before, maybe. I don't know. But whatever it was, whenever it was, you were out with your friends, right? I'm a 12-year-old boy just hitting puberty, sleeping alone in a couch. Hide a bed. And again, don't even know when you came in, but the next morning you're accused of being gay. So much so I have to dance with our female cousin to show her that I knew what boys and girls at the dance stood for, right? And embarrass not only me and her, but you as well. All cause you know that's what that was and not a wet dream, right? And won't let it go. You're supposed to be my step cousin, man. But if you're that homophobic, right, you're crazy. You were never a good cousin to me, and I think if I remember correctly, you tried to do the same thing with me in the bathtub, right? Except we were taking a bath together, and both 5 or 6 year olds, and you're a little bit older than me too, right? But you don't say things about that, because that's things kids do not knowing better, right? Another thing about knowing better is if you didn't do nothing to the point where it actually did something, it almost doesn't count, right? But what does count if you really do something with the boy, right? Or not, right? And guess what my answer to that is? Or not, or not. And again, if I'm going to take a girl into the bathroom, I'm going to lock the bathroom so I can show her the injury, right? If she wants to be locked in there with me, yeah. If not, fine. She don't have to be, right? Like I said, right? But I sure ain't gonna let you see nothing on my body because you already see the scar on me. You want to rub it and see if it's real? It's like a genie in the bottle, right? It won't do nothing for you, whether you believe it or not, right? But the one thing I can't do is lie about what I went through. If you're trying to accuse me of something I never did, right? Just because I do really have a stepdaughter, right? Who was my ex-wife's child before I met her, right? And I didn't meet her till 94, right? And I damn sure know better than to mess with any 4-year-olds coming in there to you in the middle of the night, right? Even if you just got into a fight with your wife, right? At the time, right? And you're now ex-husband and ex-wife, right? She's now technically your ex-stepdaughter, and you know you've never seen her outside of, I don't know, the capacity of when you were only around your wife, right? So what the hell are you talking about? Are you saying my ex-wife tried to set me up or something? And I would do better? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Even if she did. She wouldn't get nothing on my butt because I'd be suspicious that was what was going on. She was there with me. And the only one thing I might would do, like I said, is make sure she didn't be here or didn't need a shower, right? And neither one of that is a crime, right? Maybe I did that at the most. But I still have amnesia, right? Over half the stuff that happened to me. And amnesia is caused by trauma to the head or brain, right? Or being suffocated with a pillow. But not fully killed. Just so you stop struggling easily. Right, Chris? Uh-huh. Because usually if you're taking advantage of a wet dream, right, you're not asleep like I was. And yet, here we are, still arguing about it, over who took advantage of whom, right? Did the 14 or 15-year-old boy, right, take advantage of the 12 or prepubescent boy, right? Who's younger than him? I wonder who would take advantage of that, Chris. The older cousin or the younger?